When you live with a significant other, you share your furniture, right? Your appliances, your food, and according to a new study, you also share your microbiome. 9 News health and medical expert Dr. Coley here to talk more about that. This is a good topic because if I'm going to be quite honest, I have no idea what this microbiome business is all about. What is it?
Yeah, so each of us has our own individual microbiome, and that is the trillions of bacteria, fungus, and all the other organisms that live on our skin and inside of our body. And the more diverse your microbiome, really, the better it is for your health. But one might think that everybody has the same type of microbiome. It's very different from person to person.
Do I have more microbiome, say, than you? I mean, can you have more of it or less of it, or we all have the same of it?
No, so the more diverse your microbiome, the lower your risk for long-term diseases. And what we're learning, Drew, is that the microbiome is involved not just in inflammation and gut health, it's even involved in metabolism and our mood. In fact, it's even involved in our risk of long-term chronic diseases like diabetes and even conditions like cancer. So having good gut health, having good oral microbiome and good skin microbiome are now the holy grails of medicine, so to speak.
So we talked about the story as, what happens when you're sharing close quarters with someone. I'm sharing your microbiome, you're getting some of mine, I'm guessing. I mean, what did this study find?
It's fascinating. And I didn't realize there was this much who you live with can influence your microbiome and eventually possibly also influence your health. And so they looked at 200 households, over 400 people, and they said that people who are romantic partners share about 44% of their oral microbiome and about 19 to 30% of their gut microbiome. Now, even if you're not a romantic partner, you're just cohabitating with your kids, your parents, you can share a microbiome with them.
Should I avoid sharing a toothbrush with someone I live with? I mean, quite frankly, that doesn't really disgust me, but I know that people, for some, that's like an absolute no.
So you probably should avoid sharing a toothbrush for reasons other than the microbiome. But it's interesting you bring up the toothbrush because that's a common way in which couples that live together, they use the same toothbrush cup holder. If the toothbrushes touch each other, that's one of the ways that's thought that you're possibly sharing some of those microbes that live on the toothbrush. Now, if you have a 10-second kiss, you can actually exchange tens of millions of bacteria in that 10-second kiss. So saliva exchange is thought to be one of the key mechanisms in romantic partners. But you can imagine they're sharing the same bed, they're sharing utensils, they're sharing kitchen, they're sharing the bathroom. So all of these are ways in which it spreads. But it's not just actually touching someone or kissing them, but even the fact that when you live with somebody, you follow a similar lifestyle to them, right? You eat at the same time, you eat the same types of things, you exercise in the same way, you visit the same places. So that's important. And you have a dog, right?
Yes.
So pets can be microbial bridges as well. So when you touch your pet and then your partner touches your pet, you can actually switch your microbes that way as well.
Come on, Blaze. Okay. I worry about a lot of things. Up until this point, I have not been worrying about sharing bacteria. Should we be concerned about sharing other people's bacteria?
Not at all. In fact, most of the bacteria on our skin, inside our bodies, they live in a symbiotic relationship with us. They help us with our health and they're good for us. And so diversity of bacteria is good. Now, what's interesting that the study found also is that the most transmissible microbes, the bacteria that seem to be transmitted most easily, was what was also involved in disease, like type 2 diabetes. So the question that researchers are now really asking is that, hey, are people who they live with, is it going to influence their long-term health because of this sharing bacteria? So let's say a microbe is involved in possibly development of long-term type 2 diabetes. If you share that microbe, are you both at higher risk? And so we really, as physicians, are starting to now focus more on what lives in our mouth, what lives in our gut, what lives in our skin, as a way to start to biohack our bodies to be healthier.
You know, our producer, Sarah, told me that we've already shared enough microbiomes in this segment, so we have to wrap it up. But really interesting information.